rooted in community and built for you. This is the U plus TFCU podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of U plus TFCU. We have a special one, guys, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
80 years. 80 years belonging to TFCU, or when TFCU first began back in March 20th?
Don't look at me.
1946.
You remember?
Yeah.
You remember.
It's 80 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, we are celebrating amongst each other, celebrating with you these 80 years, and we're looking for 80 more, definitely as part of the community, right? One of the things that I think about as far as 80 years, right? I'm thinking about legacy. I'm thinking about how individuals come together to make a whole. And then I started thinking about, okay, what has been my path? I haven't been here since 1946, obviously, right? But when I first started, of course, what I do, any seed I sow will be part of the legacy, right? So interesting question, right? How did I get here? Well, when I first started, I started in call centers, believe it or not. I applied. It was cold calling, you know how that goes. Cold calling, and then a company got outsourced. I went to an international florist company, and I was their customer service representative there. And they started downsizing, and I started looking for a new job. And behold, TFC was hiring at the call center. I had no idea what a credit union was. I had no idea as far as the financial base of anything, right? I was just looking for a new job. Of course, I applied. I got the interview. And I started, and one of the things that impacted me right away is that, wow, this environment is truly about serving others, right? They were serving me. When I say they, I'm talking about my managers, my team, my environment. They were serving me in order to build me up, because again, I didn't know anything about financial literacy or anything. Fun fact, over here, Amanda, she actually hired me.
No kidding.
I did, absolutely. I was like, oh, I remember that on your resume. I love that you brought up the fact that I did get to interview you. Yeah. So I have actually only done financial industries my entire career. Before I came here, I worked for another financial institution, a non-credit union. I started there as a part-time teller in high school and worked my way up, got to learn lots of things. And I actually came to TFCU 18 years ago. So 18 years I've been here, but as a call center supervisor. So I got to experience some of those shared memories with Israel. I was looking for something different. I didn't know a big difference between banks and credit unions. The bank had kind of raised me because, I was a high schooler when I started there. And I got to see how we were different, that we really seemed to care a little bit more about the people that we were serving, that we were invested in our communities, that we had these opportunities to volunteer, and just the financial education piece of it. I didn't have exposure to that before. And I just remember thinking, man, this is different. I feel really good and proud. And
For sure.
but yeah, I've been here for 18 years, and I got to be in the call center. I made lots of great memories, great people there, amazing member contacts through those calls, and just an opportunity to grow there. And I'm in professional development now, so I get to help those new call center reps who are starting out, as well as tellers and in different positions throughout the organization. And it's just been a blast. I've loved it.
How did you move from call center to professional development? Obviously, two totally different things.
Very, very different. So when I started, I just loved the training here. And I just thought, man, I want to do what they do someday. So the person who was doing sales and services at the time, and I said, you're really good at what you do. And I'd like to have your job when you're done with it. So I think I just spoke it into existence. Yeah. And I got to do sales and services training to where we really plug into how should we treat our members by phone, in person. I got to do that for several years, and now I get to lead that team. And it's been so fulfilling.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That's really great. I kind of have a unique perspective because I was a TFCU member before I was an employee. I've been a member here since I was 16 years old. And I was kind of like Israel, like looking for a new job after a restructure when your whole life changes. And it's like, who do I trust now? Where am I going? And I was looking on LinkedIn, and I had a connection to Brent Kaufman, my now manager from a previous employer. And I just messaged him and said, hey, you posted about this job. I'm interested. I'm familiar with TFCU. I trust them with my money. Right. What about my career? I come from a cold calling, like very sales background. And Brent was like, yeah, let's grab coffee. Let's chat. And we did. And now he'll tell me, I wasn't going to let you tell me no after we left that coffee meeting. So I hope you understand I was telling you the truth, but also trying to really paint everything in a great light. But everything that he said has been true of the organization. So I've only been here now for less than 2 years, which is crazy because I feel like I've been here forever. But also like still kind of the baby of some of the groups that I'm in and a part of, but it's a really great place to work. Like I said, I trusted TFCU with my money. So why not my career? Business development has been something that is unique. My sales background, I sold a lot of stuff and accepted a lot of money and transactions and things like that. I don't have to do that now. Our program is free. And it really feels like, okay, this is kind of a dream job. I just get to go have coffee and get to go have dinner and meet with people and help people and try to help their organizations be financially secure. And the individuals that are a part of those organizations learn more about finances and feel just safer and happier about their money. And that's such a stressful point for so many people. So it really is kind of the dream. Living it. What about you, Andrew?
I was not recruited here by Brent Kaufman.
Never had coffee.
No, never got coffee. I'm going to track him down for that one. No, actually, I came from a background in commercial real estate in the retail side. So I actually worked for 2 different companies that manage shopping malls, and that is a very demanding job. But in that world, we always would talk about like office or like the banking world, anything that is not a retail environment where you're not working federal holidays and you're not working Sundays. So I actually had set alerts on LinkedIn for a couple different places. Tinker was one of them. My family had been members here going back to the 60s, and I thought, you know what? From what I've heard on the outside, it seems like a great place to be. So I set some alerts on LinkedIn. Something popped up, and I was like, that is my job. That's exactly what I'm doing now. And you're telling me I could do it in a better environment? I jumped on it immediately. Yeah. And it's been one of the wildest career changes for me, not because the job is crazy, but because I look back on it, I'm like, I can't believe I had those other jobs. And now I'm here at Tinker doing what I get to do. Like, just to contextualize this, I was working at a hospital that remained unnamed, and I spent a full day at the Oklahoma City dump pulling like biohazard bags out of a trash can. I'm like, what was that job? I was like, I'm paying my mortgage with this, and now I get to go to Tinker, where the entire focus of what we do is always directed towards our membership. And it's not hyperbole. Like everything that we talk about, like this morning at the Leadership Connect breakfast we had, we're talking about ways we enhance what we do for our membership. And I've never had an experience like that before, where it was so strategically and intentionally focused on a goal like that it just makes work fun. Like Amanda and I were talking this morning about what our calendars look like for the day, and they're wild, but I'm not stressed. Right. It's not challenging. It's actually very fulfilling. Like I got lucky, to say the least. I didn't get hired by Amanda, but I have an amazing boss, and the department I work with and my sister departments, they're awesome. So it's a great place to be.
Awesome.
Love that.
No, I'm thinking about, of course, everyone's journey, right? And I think like you hit the nail on the head. It's all about the membership, and it's about looking at it in different perspectives. Like, again, I came from the call center, but I spent some time in branch operations face to face. And that was new to me because, again, everything was over the phone. I never had face to face contact. So I was like, I don't even know if I can do this, right? And then I was still a supervisor at Capitol Hill, and then a branch supervisor at MetroTech. We have a branch inside of MetroTech. So that taught me a lot of things. And now here at the ITM department. But again, just looking at the focus on the membership and looking at different perspectives, everybody comes together. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody has the same goal, to serve, right? Mm-hmm. We've always heard, it's better to serve than to be served, right? And I really enjoy that. I really live by that. And that's something that I'm proud of. That's something that motivates me every day waking up. It's not, oh, I have to go to work, or I can't wait till I clock out. No, it's taking the time and developing myself in order to develop others. I mean, that's what it's all about for me.
So, Terah, you're the newest person.
I think so.
I think you may have a good perspective on this one. What's something that surprised you from day one coming to the organization? And I think you have a unique perspective from coming from a sales background, which can be a very challenging role. What's that like shifting from an outside organization coming here?
So I've definitely had to kind of shrug off my competitiveness a little bit because it's not sales. We are all truly a team, from the business development officers to the community engagement team. We obviously work very close together to serve populations in the communities that we're in. But I can't be so competitive. So I think that surprised me that I'm stretching myself in a way that I've never been stretched before, in the sense that there's no leaderboard. We're all truly in it together, from, remodeling in Seminole, like facilities. That's my territory. I get to be proud of that just as much as you do, and just as much as the branch employees do. And it's just really, I think I was surprised to see how cohesive it is, even though we're all spread out in 36 branches all over the region. So I was kind of shocked. I've never worked at a place like that. I've never worked where everyone is truly going towards that same goal of serving the membership. Everyone in other places has kind of had their own little side hustle going on, of what they want to achieve. And that's not always a bad thing, but here it really is that true north of membership.
Yeah.
And everybody just cares about everybody. And that's very, very unique.
I think that for me, just the way it's kind of shaped me outside of work is people come to me because they trust TFCU. They trust, they see the name, they trust us with their money. And if they don't yet, that's okay. But they know that they can come to us as individuals in our communities and ask us questions, and know that they can, reach out when they said, hey, I'm at this dealership and there's this loan and they're telling me it's going to be X percent. Like, does that seem right to you? Well, I can't pull your credit, but let's talk this through. What does that look like in real life? And is that something your budget can support? Just to have those be natural conversations, it blows my mind. Just a chance to be able to do that with somebody.
Can you tell us something about, or like a story that you tell others that happened here at TFCU? Just like your go-to. You know what I mean?
One that really sticks out to me is when I was in call center, I had a monthly meeting with a member that kind of lived off the grid. And this particular member didn't use online services. We had a scheduled meeting. We would call, we would cover everything that had happened that month. We would set up that meeting for the next month where they would come into town and use someone else's phone. It was a really unique circumstance. And for this, it's my go-to story simply because I got to be that contact person, somebody that they trusted within the organization. They knew that they had a time with someone where they could go by phone and really delve into their personal finances. And that lent to when we would talk and train employees about talking to members about products and services and only looking for things that actually fit and match with their lives.
That makes sense.
With that member, I would never have been like, we have online banking, because they didn't want to use that service, right? So for me, that was really something that stuck with me over the years, just to be trusted in that way. And when I transitioned from that role, I was sure to make sure that that member felt ready, and we had a joint call with a new person they could now trust. So that way, when we transitioned, they had somebody else that they had as a contact person in the organization. And that way they felt secure. I think that that's been kind of my go-to throughout the years, is just to know that we can serve people exactly where they are.
That's awesome.
Israel, what about you? Because you also have a customer service and a call center support background. What is that? What's your example of that? You've got to have several of those too.
Man, I remember one time and of course, no one's perfect, right? I remember we made a mistake on an official check, and of course, the member became upset, came to the branch, wanted to talk to the manager. Okay, I'm here, got the situation explained to me. I was like, okay, the member was going east, and of course he had to drop off the official check going west, right? I'm like, you know what am I going to do? I'm going to take my lunch. I literally took my lunch, grabbed, of course, with the member's permission and everything, I literally dropped off the official check where he needed to be downtown, racing around, and called him back right while I was going, back to the branch. Hey, Mr. Member, everything was received well. I spoke to so-and-so. Everything is good. You don't have to worry. I do apologize. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to make it right. And he was like in awe, right? I go back to the branch. The employees see that modeling of behavior, that servant leadership, right? And that always stuck to me. And every time he came back, he was like, hey, no one has ever done that. Thank you so much for doing that. I could have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, we messed up, and go about my day. But I put myself in the member's shoes. And I'm like, how can I serve this member in an extraordinary way, right? And just going back to Amanda's example, of even over the phone, right? There's been so many examples because, again, you really can't read people over the phone except for their voice. So it's just taking a step back, listening to them. And that has helped me even in face-to-face conversations that I have with membership. And they truly understand where I'm coming from because I'm trying to put myself literally in their shoes, in my perspective, my mind, in order to accomplish whatever they need to accomplish, right? So that story going downtown, that stuck with me. I'm sure that stuck with the members. And going back to your point, whenever you give service like that, they're going to tell their friends and family members, and that's how we grow. And it's not just for the sake of growing, it's just for the sake of saying, hey, this is good soil where you can sow your seeds, right? We're talking about, hey, I trust you with my money, and we are here as working adults, and we are, of course, trying to sow good seeds in good soil. So
I want to hear your story because you have a unique perspective, not being member facing all the time. What's your go-to moment?
Yeah, you're right. I do have a really unique opportunity because the facilities department does very tangible physical service for a lot of the organization. But one of the best parts of my job is watching what my team does for our foundation. And our foundation, for anyone who doesn't know about it, is a very philanthropic arm of our company that specifically is helping first responders and veterans in a number of different ways. And one of the ways that they are trying to give back is by helping people stay in their homes longer. Mobility becomes an issue for a lot of aging veterans. And there's been a lot of dozens of opportunities that we've had to go into homes and install grab bars in the showers or redo flooring to help take care of trip hazards. We've put up ramps, countless ramps for homes so we can resolve wheelchair access issues. And there's just story after story of, I got to give full credit to my team and Monty Davenport, who has a big heart, who does a lot of work in that. But we get to do things like that monthly, maybe, which is so much fun. Obviously, our main customer for my department is helping other employees work through obstacles in the physical environment. But the way that we get to give back through the foundation is immediately gratifying to be able to see the look on somebody's face who says, I can actually work and live in my own home now. It's so joyful and heartwarming to get an opportunity to do that.
Kate Bacon, the director of the foundation, said yesterday that they served 38 veterans in 2025. And that's 38 people that get to stay in their homes. And that's not including the grants and the money that they give away, but over 800 volunteer hours towards veterans in 2025. And that's incredible. I haven't got to be a part of that. I was pregnant for most of last year.
That's a good reason why.
So, but it is an incredible opportunity.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
I wouldn't have thought of that. So,
No.
I knew you had a unique stance over there.
I'm the ringer with that question. The opportunities that we have as a regional credit union are enormous. And what I enjoy about TFCU is that we take advantage of those opportunities. We look for them. We actively seek out people who need help. And obviously, we through the work that we have with financial literacy, our lending services, and just our MSOs and tellers everywhere, they're actively engaged with supporting people on their financial journey, which is in and of itself is pretty amazing. But yeah, behind the scenes, we are actively supporting and helping all kinds of organizations throughout the state.
Just a quick question for everyone. What does 80 year mean to you as far as an organization that you work in as TFCU?
80 is significant.
It is.
Like it.
80 is like, hey,
feels
Grandpa, tell me, give
Yeah,
me
it's
some
like,
wisdom.
what have we learned? Who have we become? And who will we be? That's what I think of when I think of 80. I think of a well-lived life, but also like what potential still is there. And Israel had said, we're sowing these seeds and there will be things that we do or places that we build or communities that we serve that we may not get to see. What does that look like in the next 80? But man, where have we been? How have we been able to serve people? And that's what it comes down to is those members, those individuals being, learning more about their finances, feeling more confident in what does it look like to be able to breathe a little when it comes to money. And so with 80, that's what I think of. It's just, wow.
I kind of think of it as we've been here, pause and refocus, and kind of refresh. I feel like I especially see that on the team that I'm on and like new leadership and kind of these fresh minds and fresh perspectives is 75 to me is like, okay, we did it. We've been here for 75 years. There's been 5 more. And like, to your point, where are we going? I think especially with the expansion into Texas, there's this opportunity of like, everything just needs to continue to be better. And how do we find those opportunities to be better, to better serve, to continue to improve? Is that technology? Is that facilities? Where are we going? And that's kind of how I feel like my perspective has been, is this really great opportunity that, yes, we're established, but it's like, okay, like you're kind of in that stage of like, you just have to keep going and you just have to continue to get better. And while it should totally be celebrated, it's kind of that you got to freshen yourself up a little bit at 80. You kind of you got to brush the dust off and find out where those opportunities for growth are and for improvement.
Yeah, I don't think too many people probably see on the outside how much we value progress and efficiency. Like when I think of 80, I think of stability, right? I think of my grandpa too for some reason. I'm not sure, but I don't know what that says. But I think of stability. But what I actually see internally in terms of the way that we are operating now is that we are not looking at that and saying, great, we did it, we made it. We're actually like putting our foot on the gas and saying like, in the environment we operate in and the way that things change and turn over so fast, we have a very progressive internal ideology of like we have to keep pushing because it's not necessarily pushing is not necessarily about growth. It's actually about maintenance for our membership. Like if we, the phrase is grow or die, but there's some reality to that if we are growing, like we are making sure that we maintain that stability moving forward.
Right. It's kind of weird and even ironic just thinking about this idea, right? But again, we are 80, but I'm thinking about like an 80-year-old baby, right? It's still developing, of course.
Benjamin Button.
we still have to nurture it, and we're still looking forward to the next 80. And having said that, in your opinion, where are we in the next 80 years?
Oh, I won't be here.
But we will be putting things together to establish, right?
For sure.
I don't plan on being here either.
It's hard not to look at it from the lens of what I do every day, right? And from business partnership. And we've got so many incredible partners all over the state, all over the region. And even in the next 5 years, I think about what can that look like? And I see continuous growth. I mean, I see continuing to add organizations into our field of membership where we can physically go sign them up for accounts. That number I think right now is like in the thousands, like the low thousands. I think that will double and triple and quadruple in 80 years.
For sure.
I would agree. I see us being a presence But along with that innovation that Andrew was talking about, like we want to be relevant. We want to continue not just to rest on those laurels, that we want to continue to grow and think about things differently. We don't want to become stagnant. We want to continue to grow, whether that's, expansions into regions to better services for membership, but always with that membership guidance, just that true north that you mentioned, Terah.
Yeah, Amanda, what would you say to a member that has been here for decades? Like if you had them in front of you.
First thing I would say is thank you. Thank you for trusting us for all of this time. We want to make sure that we honor that, and we want to give you reasons to continue to trust us as we move forward. Let me help you become comfortable with the products and services. Let's take a look at what you have. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to do? That's where I want to be. I want to help you get there so that you can feel that you can continue to be confident with TFCU. But thank you. Thank you for the years already.
The thank you is so important because they probably joined, if they've been here since the beginning, when we just were serving base, essentially. And obviously we are much different than that now.
Yeah.
And so I think to stick with us through all that is so special. So the thank you is huge there because we're not who we were when we first started.
Yeah, it's funny, we were talking about thinking of a grandfather, and I was like, you know what, my dad's 79. So I do think of my grandfather because my grandfather was a base employee back in the 60s, I believe, and worked at the commissary there. And my family they've been members since then. And I definitely think of that. I think of my grandfather for that, and I have nothing but gratitude for what he did for both for the country that we live in, but for the family that I'm lucky to have. And I think of thank you as well. I know we always say that to our members if we bump into somebody in the wild and they say, "Oh, I'm a member of TFCU," and like we all have that same comment. It's like, "Thank you for being a member." But I think that's sincere, which is wild. Is that like we don't take for granted the fact that somebody said, This is my financial institution. I'm proud of it. I'm going to stay here. Like I've worn Tinker swag at the store before, and somebody's come up to me and was like, "Hey, where do I get that? How do I get that jacket? How do I get that shirt?" I'm like, I don't know. It just got delivered to me. But people are that excited about our institution that they want to wear the gear. We give out hats at some branches. And people wear them proudly over town. I saw our landscapers wearing some TFCU hats the other day, and I thought, well, that's amazing. Fire away, guys. I'm thankful for that. So, when I think of a member who's been with TFCU for a long time, I don't take for granted that they could have gone to another financial institution. Yeah. Thankful for it.
Even more than wearing our logo, I think there's this... Like at the state fair, for example, I probably had 20 people come up to me and say, "This is my bank." And I'm like,
"Oh, very cool.
This is your credit union." But yes, but this is your financial institution. To outwardly speak that when you could just walk by and not say anything, but to have that pride of like, I'm coming up.
Yeah.
And then having people bringing up their friends of like, well, this is my financial institution. Who's yours? And like kind of calling them out. Like, why are you not here? How do we sign them up for an account? That pride is like, it feels so special. And it feels like the coolest thing ever to get to be like, well, I work there. And hearing these thank yous, I mean, it goes back to the stories we've all told. Like, it's just so special. And that thank you really is so genuine because you do have options.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm curious about something because when people ask me, like my sister was asking me this the other day, and she's like, "What do you love about TFCU?" I'm curious about what your opinions are, either as a member or as an employee. Israel, what do you tell people first when they say, "What do you love about working at TFCU?"
We have even a slogan of "We get it," and we truly do get it, and we're trying to better ourselves to better the situation that they're in, and I think that speaks to me, right? That definitely speaks to me, and I have that in my mind constantly, or I try to remind myself, right? My daughter, as soon as she was born, hey, open up her account, right? So I'm just, giving back even to my own family. Of course, they ask me, hey, where do you bank at? TFCU. and we just have conversations about it, and real conversations. It's not just like, I work at TFCU, right? No, it's like, hey, we are proud. We're wearing the swag, and that's what it's all about, right? And I think that's what I'm really proud of.
I just think we care.
Yeah.
We care about the member experience. We care about our communities. We care about our employees. Like, I feel valued. And I also am empowered to think about what I can do and less about what I can't do. So when I get that situation, whether it's something I'm trying to help a branch with or something they're working through, well, I can't do this. Nope. What can I do? How can I come alongside this person to get them to that next thing? And I think we instill that in our branch folks, and we instill that over the phone, like, okay, here's the situation. We're going to empathize. We're going to come alongside you, but what can we do to step in and be that stopgap? So I feel empowered, and I just feel proud.
Mine's kind of a combination of both.
Yeah.
I feel stretched. I don't want to say challenged. I feel stretched to a good capacity, to grow as a professional, to grow as a human being, to, not just from your professional development, but opportunities that my leadership brings to me. It's cool that we all four have very different jobs, have been here for different tenures, but even you asking us like what we love about it is all pretty consistent. And I think that says so much about 80 years of consistency, but we've all had a pretty consistent experience that's been really positive. And I love that.
Definitely.
Me too.
Definitely.
I want to personally say thank you for our past employees, our present ones, and even the future ones. I mean, maybe my daughter, who knows, right? And also past members, present members, and future members, right? Just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Just like we are in one accord with our answers, we're in one accord with our feelings, or what we actually say to you whenever we say thank you so much for being a member at TFCU.